persist,
persist,
persist, persist, persist.
Has to break it off, but you won't let her go. You persist, you persist, you persist.
So, why can I not move on? Why does the matter persist in buzzing away at my most precious commodity, my concentration? Nor would I persist against so many of my better instincts in this correspondence.
Is that a good use of your time for a facts and figures man? But you persist in the wind and the rain and the cold.
Who is it?
It's Randy. His gyno difficulties persist.
Sort of pattern, he just can't make out what it was.
The mystery of the tattoos persists.
You've moved into our backyard, you've shot up Main Street. If I let that threat persist, I look weak, and
maybe I am out of my depth. And yet this feeling persists.
What proof have you got?
Oh, none, at the moment. But if you persist in your lie, I'll summon the doctor and have him examine you.
Evolve.
evolve,
Evolve.
evolve,
Evolve.
Eating people. It evolved into that. We evolved. We evolved. We evolved. We had to. And now we've devolved into hunters.
One adapts, one evolves, one evolves, one evolves. One becomes intent on the floor.
I'm sorry you didn't find your way to the temple. You didn't get to evolve. We evolve. We evolve.
Oh, I evolved.
Speak.
They've always been able to. Their language is mostly transmitted thoughts. Their words are evolved, efficient.
I could be half drunk and still make it work.
And then to evolve, I mean, 21's so young, and then you get older, so much happens, you change in those years drastically.
Oh,
1,000 years ago. Human DNA spliced with indigenous species to evolve a fertile population. And that's...
Absolutely. Everybody knows that one day intelligent machines are going to evolve to hate us. It's the button box thing.
What's the button box thing?
And, they all died. Then we evolved into this, and we lived.
Don't you guys think that he's actually evolved beyond that by now?
He's a man. He has a pulse, so... No. Night out of the year. Is it too much to ask to stick to the program?
Well, maybe your program should evolve a little.
It is evolving. I invited you, didn't I? You are still coming, right?
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, no. Norwegian prisons are surprisingly evolved. Decent food, comfy bed, extensive library.
Civilized. I don't know how it's possible.
Some lower angels are more evolved than others, but I've never seen them act like this before. Each one has a personality. Some are smart, evolved, some primal, dumb as a box of rocks, but all of them are obsessed with the life.
Things. But then as time went on, he evolved.
Values.
values,
Values. Values.
Values.
You make an interesting argument, but from now on, God values what I value. God values what I value. God values what I value. Come here, Chad.
Family. Most politicians are permanently chained to that slogan. Family values. Family values. Family values.
Focusing on the core brand values of integrity.
Heroes of the people. They are a shining example and a reminder of those values that bind us.
Injury at your hands. He allowed you to come here, perhaps demonstrates how little he values your life.
I know he values his privacy, but there are some things that Sherlock needs to deal with if he really wants to get better.
Of itself, he had nothing to do with the shooting, so the bite might just mean he values his privacy.
Of deaths,
We are talking about nothing less than the survival of the species. Surely that's worth compromising one's values for.
A whole new life, with a family that values what you are and what you can do.
Of course, she's taken advice from someone with false and greedy values.
Oh, Mother. At the Sentinel. Values like honor, duty, discipline.
Such a pity how much ruthless pragmatism gets weighed down by family values.
Agreement.
Agreement. Agreement. Agreement. Agreement.
Am I being grounded?
We had an agreement. We had an agreement. We had an agreement. 6 months, and we see what cream rises to the top.
And we are.
I know that Mike is innocent.
Right, just like you knew she was dead.
I thought we had an agreement. Agreement.
We do.
What? Did he just kiss you?
No, it was days ago.
And you let him?
No, he pounced.
It was hardly a pounce. You bastard. We had an agreement. We had an agreement. We had an agreement.
It's insulting, $140,000 a year.
David, look, if we get an agreement now, we can go up to $180,000, but that exhausts our cushion.
What's going on?
It's Carl's weekend to have Julie. And they're always back by 6. That's our custody agreement. Back by 6. Then it's after 6.
What do you want?
You don't have to buy me anything.
Well, you didn't have to plan anything, but you did, even though we had an agreement.
Well, I changed my mind.
Oh, damn it, Edie. We had an agreement!
It wasn't official.
Your master and I have reached a new agreement.
There'll be no new agreement.
Talk to him yourself.
Hold your position.
But you know how to get to her.
If I did, could we come to an agreement?
Commitments number 37. In the event one friend is ever invited to visit the Large Hadron Collider, now under construction in Switzerland, he shall invite the other friend to accompany him. For God's sake.
You actually put that in an agreement?
Yeah. You're failing.
What?
That's right. We had an agreement. School first, the show second.
Portable. Portable.
Portable. Portable.
Portable.
Testing it.
Yeah, and this thing isn't exactly portable. Portable.
Help yourself to anything in the fridge. There are portable saunas in the closet. Portable saunas? Love it! What is it?
So, what is all that stuff? This is a portable electroencephalogram. Portable electroencephalogram. Portable electroencephalogram.
Beam me up.
You all get these portables, and if there are any problems, Turner understands the whole system.
Sierra Madre.
Okay, I got the changing pad, the portable high chair.
I could spend a few hours outside of it with my portable respirator, depending on how I feel, but I work and sleep in the iron lung.
They're not worth much, but they're portable and a property.
Welcome back, man.
What are these stones?
They're a new form of synthetic plutonium. Small and portable, but mega powerful, am I right?
Check their supply bag. You should all have breath mints, a portable fan.
Tower. There's a PATC, Portable Air Traffic Control Tower. The US government set up these for disaster zones.
It's not a closet, it's a portable sauna. I built it myself.
Get her prepped for surgery. CPC with diff chem 20, portable chest x-rays, cross and type for 2 units.
Yes, doctor.
Engineer.
Engineer. Engineer. Engineer.
Engineer.
Intellect of the neuroscientists, engineers, mathematicians, and hackers.
What is it this time?
Da Vinci, architect, engineer, painter.
Yeah, fascinating.
Hey, look, check this out.
Rutgers University, where she was a postdoc engineer in eco-friendly design. By all accounts, she was well-liked, respected. No one I spoke to had any idea who could have done this to her.
What's an engineer from New Jersey doing in a barrel in Lower Manhattan?
We have teams of engineers ready to restore power and utilities.
Unsettling.
They're not physicists. They're not engineers. They think it's just going to go away.
Interview for a game design firm. They're looking for engineers.
Wait, video games?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Your aerospace engineering dad might be designing video games.
That's so cool.
I know.
He's a senior facilities engineer, and he called in sick yesterday. Nobody's been able to reach him since.
During the attack, unfortunately, I decapitated the engineer.
Go!
I'll come with.
Ronnie, no.
I'm the lead engineer on how to operate the shutdown valve.
It's not safe.
Kate, I have to go.
He was the structural engineer. He liked to joke that he was basically a very high-priced plumber.
So call in the engineer and unlock them? Frost is that engineer.
Our grains are in that tower. The food supply is at risk.
Reservoir.
Reservoir. Reservoir. Reservoir.
Reservoir.
Cups are huge. They're like reservoirs. Reservoirs. Reservoirs.
It's almost bigger than my face.
Once again, stormwaters have just reached the dam at Black Beacon Reservoir. Black Beacon Reservoir. Black Beacon Reservoir. A flash flood alert is in effect. Take immediate precautions.
The aesthetic
Walk me through
is
you walking, because I like,
Reservoir Dogs, Reservoir Dogs, Reservoir Dogs meets Casablanca. How many times do I have to tell you that?
You could climb up into Brigade of Guards.
The plans of Vitruvius show where the drains lead. Yes? Once I reach a reservoir, I just drill up into the vascular flooring.
Reservoir Dogs, dude. Cut the ear.
Yeah, how far upstream?
The boat launch is 6 to 7 clicks from the reservoir. Put the boat down.
Hydroelectric power from Philpott Dam. Fresh water from our own underground reservoir.
Transit hubs.
The bad news is the toxin's versatile. It can be deployed through the ventilation system. It can contaminate a reservoir. It can be detonated with a bomb.
Are from all the other ones. There also used to be a small reservoir in town before the tower was built, but Ollie's well sapped that too.
Okay, so say we destroy Ollie's well.
And divert the water back to the dry ones of the reservoir.
That's right. No more Ollie Quarter on the market on H2O.
For you? We've got a reservoir that needs to be protected. Crops that need tending. Streets that need to be cleaned.
Spur. 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 Spur.
Spud.
Generally, stately, elegant. His uniform, spotless, with the jeweled sword and shining spurs, spurs, spurs. End of the summer.
Tonight.
Tonight.
Spur of the moment. Spur of the moment. Spur of the moment.
Tonight might be a little tough.
Come on.
Problem is, when a lot of folks can't get a horse to operate on a field, they'll get a little more bridle, get a little more shank on it. Drive a spur through the horse's shoulder.
To go to Budapest? No, I was just kind of, Bucharest, just spur of the moment kind of thing. You know?
But life changes. There's no question about that. There's no spur of the moment activities. You're not meeting people for dinner at the last minute.
Well, like I told you at Kaya's party, I killed all those people to spur you on a little bit and give you something to write about.
I thought you said your spurs were hung.
It's better to have and not need.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi. Hi, Sheriff Mills.
Not me. My spurs are hung.
Oh.
A standing desk.
Yes, it's good for your posture, it spurs creativity, and generates confidence.
Your anger at the cur's impudence will disguise your desire to kill.
Or it may just spur me to strike even faster.
Stand still. I'm subjecting myself to her songs in the hope that they might spur some fresh line of thinking.
Invite us?
It was spur of the moment. Oh, and it was perfection.
You've got one overriding priority. Complete construction of the rail spur to the Carolina Southern Track by the end of the month.
Furnish. 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 Furnish.
Furnish.
Hell, or rent you a furnished place? Furnished place? Furnished place?
I came for the night because I wanted to see how you were.
I had no idea the place came furnished. Furnished. Furnished.
Have you lost what's left of your mind?
It is. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. Furnished, $2,800 a month. But to be honest, if you gave me some time, I could probably get that down.
Your life as you know it
is over. As we speak, your campaign headquarters are being furnished and staffed, and the Mach brothers have put $1 million into your political action.
I just got this new apartment, and I have very bad taste. It's a furnished apartment, and it's probably my first mistake.
Well, it depends on who furnished it.
I think maybe Richard Grieco.
We haven't met yet. Who? My former partner, Nancy, had apparently been furnishing you with certain items.
Where else would they be going?
Well, I'm moving into a furnished place, so I'm just going to take what I need from my room, and the rest can be donated.
You've never furnished a home.
I have furnished a bunch of homes.
No, you've married a bunch of women who furnished a bunch of homes.
For what he's going to be furnishing, this deal is plenty fair.
And we'll discuss this together.
You saw what he sentenced me to? A room no better than a furnished coffin.
What about the roommate agreement? It specifically states that any changes in furnishing have to be approved by the furnishing committee.
I'm waiting on Yang. She's gonna break down and furnish the whole house.
Evacuate.
Evacuate.
Evacuate. Evacuate.
Evacuate.
People are gonna freeze to death.
Lift the lockdown and evacuate those stations. And evacuate those stations. And evacuate those stations. Where's Kane?
He's interrogating the bomber, sir.
Everyone's clean. Even though it isn't contagious, we had to evacuate the precinct until we know for sure.
What are we supposed to do, just stand here?
Not you, Mr. Castle. All non-essential personnel must evacuate. Must evacuate. Must evacuate.
Oh, no. I am essential personnel.
No. What do you mean, no, Lexa? If we evacuate, they'll know we have a spy inside their walls. Not necessarily. We could win this war. Don't you see that? If we'd evacuated Ton DC, Meltweather would have known that someone tipped us off.
And how does Malcolm propose to evacuate an entire section of the city?
Admitted to a conspiracy to destroy the Glades. Everyone within a 5-mile radius has been asked to evacuate. Please leave the area.
The city servicemen, especially the police, evacuate.
You're out of your mind.
I'm the reverse.
Dr. Wells, evacuate. Get out of there now. Dr. Wells!
Keen on leaving as we were, perhaps retreating to shelters or bunkers.
Well, they evacuated. We know they have a powered way out. May.
How much damage are we talking?
4 or 5 city blocks or more. We need to evacuate right now.
No, evacuation sends the wrong message.
Public's been evacuated. The men set a 2-block perimeter around the palace. All right, make it 3. I promise you that we're doing everything we can to find your father, but right now you have to evacuate.
I'm staying here.
I got PEA. She's bleeding into the bag around her heart. I need to evacuate the blood. Minute and a half. She doesn't have a minute and a half, Shay.
All company, evacuate the building.
Come on, Bill. Let's go.
Widespread. Widespread.
Widespread.
Widespread.
Widespread.
American Bobby Fischer, whose demands that the game be held in a rec room have led to widespread ridicule. Widespread ridicule. Widespread ridicule.
I know I said I could work till late tonight.
Yeah.
But my man Rio, he scored tickets to Widespread tonight. Widespread tonight. Widespread tonight.
That a lot. Preventative vaccines are created, but not all flu strains become widespread. Widespread. Widespread.
They do with a little help.
We need to keep this small. We don't want widespread panic. Generally, we don't negotiate with terrorists, much less join forces with them.
Baton Rouge, all over the place. The boys think the niggers gone widespread on a hunt for pig's feet. But
More than a decade. But the human urge to pursue altered states persisted, resulting in widespread flouting of the law in underground saloons called speakeasies.
Dramatic turn. City officials are urging calm, hoping to avoid widespread panic.
Due to widespread system failure, the number you are calling cannot be reached. This message will not be updated.
You do understand that if there's a widespread outbreak of this virus, we'd be looking at a slate wiper.
Remote. 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 Remote.
Remote.
It's when you buy a skyscraper, always spring for the elevator remote. The elevator remote. The elevator remote.
You're doing, Miss Miller, this does not end well for you. If you just
Put the remote down. Put the remote down. Put the remote down. We'll never speak of this. My office, please.
Ooh, automatic door remote. Door remote. Door remote. That's very beast, sir.
Now listen carefully. You're to break into the control room, access the remote system.
Oh, yeah, but I want to try something. I'll crack into the phone company's remote monitoring system and fool it into thinking there's a legal tap on the line. Who controls?
The guy who invented TV Begun is speaking. It's a remote. You walk into a bar and turn off.
Dangerous, deadly, but remote. Think harder, brother.
Sir, remote detonations failed.
We are negative for go-side separation, negative for launch.
It's a remote connectivity issue.
Is it working?
I'm using the bug to remote access the computer right now.
One of the Aldermen has a pacemaker.
If it's remote programmable.
It'll have a GPS.
React.
React. React. React. React.
There is another explanation. The reason she didn't react isn't because she wants to die. It's because she knows she can't do anything about it.
Well, either she just wasn't ready for that, or maybe she was just surprised and didn't know how to react. Didn't know how to react. Didn't know how to react.
No matter what is said between the subjects, we do not react. We do not react. We do not react.
Nobody here has ever had a bad result. Nobody has had a client react to a side effect.
I was scared of how you'd react, and I felt guilty because of all the work that you put into just saying hi.
What?
I expected a bigger reaction. I've been sitting here with knots in my stomach.
Okay, look, I never mentioned this before because I knew how you'd react, but, me.
Yes. I'm gonna tell him how you're trying to blackmail me into sleeping with you. I wonder how he'll react.
Mrs. Solis.
You think he'll get violent?
The thing again.
Yeah, but I don't have any heroin on me, Castle.
Why would he react like that unless... So I told Ed. How did he react?
Well, he told us not to worry, but you could tell he was pretty shaken up.
Phil, you gotta let this go.
I'm sorry, Claire. I don't know how to react when I find out there's a 70% chance I'm gonna die.
Okay, this is way too many grapes. And the spoon is modern day, so if we use it, everyone at the table has to react in shock at the spoon from the future.
Important news. And for the first time in your life, I need you to react nicely.
I always react nicely.
You never do.
Stuff you need to work out?
Yeah. He just pushes my buttons, you know? I gotta find a different way to react.
Right.
Character. Character.
Character.
Character. Character.
She's old enough to exhibit a little character. But I guess that's something you normally learn from your parents.
That's a shot.
How does it look?
It gives your face character. It's character. It's character.
Chose these characters for a reason. Chose these women for a reason. The real one being the comic book character.
Comic book characters aren't real, okay? I mean the guy who assumed the persona of the comic book character.
And who's that?
No one knows.
You know, for someone who kills off all his characters, you have a strange, stubborn streak of optimism in you.
It would all come back to Edmund's character, why he became a Santa in the first place.
Turns out it's a...
Trying to determine how much my character could figure out just from that number. I'm wondering if my character's police buddies might have any resources.
If not the best judge of character.
Is everything okay?
I took it from my favorite historical character and my second favorite Szechuan restaurant in Brooklyn.
You know, I'm usually a pretty good judge of character, but I'm gonna admit, I read you all wrong.
Pollute.
Pollute.
Pollute. Pollute.
Pollute.
Of you allowing weakness into your life, and even in death, your devotion to her pollutes your judgment.
This is the water from the lake. It's polluted with methane. It's polluted with methane. It's polluted with methane.
Must have cut through an underground mineral pocket when the dome came down.
According to Max's tox screen, these boys was so polluted, they'd have to empty a whole clip just to hit the side of a barn.
From you, that's a very powerful statement. Look, aren't you supposed to stop me from committing crimes? You know, book them, Dan, don't give a hoot, don't pollute.
And they waited it out. And now, you know, with ozone depletion and carbon monoxide polluted waters, well, we practically terraformed it for them.
Conflict of interest.
No, they approached us because we're good lawyers. They bring $8 million in yearly business.
Their facility polluted the groundwater. They poisoned those kids.
They're not even my cigarettes. It's not a big deal.
Not a big deal? You could have started a forest fire, and I did not raise you to pollute the precious little lungs God gave you.
You rich weekenders. You think you're so smart? Meantime, you pollute our beaches, you throw your money around like you're better than us.
Hey, Castle. Welcome back.
Thank you. I hear the East River's a little more polluted than usual today.
Yeah.
Adventure, we are throwing dog tags into an already polluted ocean where they will probably choke an otter.
That'd be sweet. If your ovaries are polluted, then you can screw without protection till you're old.
It's real jobs. And when the Delaware River is less polluted than it's been in 50 years, it's holding up a real glass of its water and seeing how clear it is.
Saddle.
Saddle. Saddle.
Saddle. Saddle.
She won't take the saddle. Saddle. Saddle.
Let me grab my saddle. My saddle. My saddle.
What? No. I didn't ask for your help.
Did you see it? I don't think so. Oh, you'd know so. It has a saddle. Saddle. Saddle.
It's acceptance.
He bucks whenever I saddle him. Not when I saddle him, but when I get him to go through transition.
Spot. That lady has a way of making me sit taller in the saddle.
Well, you guys aren't really back in the saddle?
No. No, sir. This is a 56 Metropolitan Nash?
Yeah, it reminds me of an old pair of saddle shoes I once had.
Oh, Billy, you should wear a saddle. Yes, yes.
Phil, help me saddle up my horse, will you?
Well, look who's suddenly needed by his father-in-law.
You got 2 hands, 4 wheels, 1 saddle.
Who? Morning. You back in the saddle?
Good way. Nothing I haven't felt after spending a day on the saddle.
Distinction.
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 You see, but you do not observe. The distinction is clear. The distinction is clear. The distinction is clear.
Served his country with courage and distinction. Courage and distinction. Courage and distinction. Keane's work is completely without distinction. Distinction. Distinction.
Important distinction. This created brain is self-sustaining.
I have the questionable distinction to be married to his only daughter.
A distinction without distinction.
I wasn't investigating you.
Dubious distinction.
The greatest slave soldiers in the world. Distinction means a good deal to some people.
He didn't seem any more interested in the distinction than your father. I suppose if you work for the Iron Bank of Bravos and each one of your gold barges is worth half a kingdom, you tend not to be overly concerned with the kind of distinction.
Important distinction.
But I'm happy to kill you.
Please, no, don't hurt him.
Touch those kids. I found them on the street.
Do you think anybody gives a crap about that distinction?
Volunteer their forces, they answer to their own governments first and foremost, and then they cooperate with the UN command. That's an important distinction to make.
Justice Jacobs served our nation with duty and distinction.
Recommendation. Recommendation.
Recommendation.
Recommendation.
Recommendation.
Colleges. I do hope she can count on you for a glowing recommendation. Recommendation. Recommendation.
Sure.
Oh, well, are you sure she's trustworthy?
Well, she comes with a strong recommendation from the head of the local FBI office.
That's perfect. I'm trying to fit into an old dress. I need intense.
Forget it. You can't get in without a recommendation. 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 And I'm not recommending you.
It's 15 to 25 with parole and 10 for giving us Tyson's new alias, and I need to give the ADA a recommendation.
I gave you my highest recommendation.
You did.
Yeah?
No.
I was just on my way to work. Thought I would pick up my letter of recommendation.
Right. For your grant application.
Yes.
Your recommendation?
Cancellation.
Your recommendation?
Well?
Andrew's recommending Sky be removed from S.H.I.E.L.D., effective immediately.
I agree with his recommendation.
I must accept the recommendation of others when I'm outvoted. Here we stand.
I discovered a recommendation to make you a field agent.
I'm really sorry about the board's recommendation.
Nonsense. It had nothing to do with the board or with you. We didn't have the data to support it.
Omar Risha is not a terrorist. He worked for U.S. forces in Iraq and for my company as a translator. There's a recommendation in here from my boss, Ken Davis. What more proof do you want?
Persuade.
Persuade.
Persuade. Persuade. Persuade.
What if I say no?
I'll persuade you. I'll persuade you. I'll persuade you.
They know the trouble in these waters. They will not sail in them.
I believe they can be persuaded, sir. Persuaded, sir. Persuaded, sir.
Might I suggest that you speak with Governor Wallace and Sheriff Clark and urge them against violence instead of trying to persuade us not to have a peaceful protest.
Once you get all of your friends together, and it must be all of them, everyone who left, and once you've persuaded them to join you,
I had hoped they would sit out this war. Gabriel's obviously persuaded some of them to join him.
So did you persuade Cam to fire Max?
What, you think my dad should be allowed to work at the Jeffersonian?
Is there any way I could just persuade you to look at these and guess cause of death?
A campaign must be designed to persuade the electorate that the candidate is on their side.
His sister, Mrs. Chetwood, sent me the receipt. I'm trying to persuade Mrs. Patmore to make it. I'm trying to persuade her ladyship that I have already planned the dinner with her, and I can't change it now.
So what did you do? How about I tell you what you did? You persuaded the complainant not to press charges. Got a withdrawal complaint signed, killing the case.
And I.
Oh.
I persuaded a tech at the Real-Time Crime Center to copy this for me.
For years. He came to me for help. I persuaded the government to bail him out in exchange for some of IFT's patents.
I lied. He gave me a disc to take home and watch. Thought it would persuade me to tell my story.
Frequent.
Frequent.
Frequent. Frequent.
Frequent.
Bars did Shauna and Clay frequent?
Mostly Southside dive bars. Why?
I did 2 nights ago.
And not for the first time. He said Santos was a frequent overnight guest of the good doctor.
These fierce head-to-heads may be short, but they're becoming more frequent. No, sorry.
Well, over the course of 33 months, you were a very, very frequent donor. You donated 693 times.
It's covered, Dad.
Where you going?
I'm going to the club with Kev.
Which one?
Why? You think you might know it?
Well, I have been known to frequent discotheques in my heyday.
You said he was a friend of yours?
We frequent the same beekeeping chat room. He has an impressive collection of Caucasians.
Charlie's lab must be within walking distance of this place. Anthrax requires frequent monitoring during a growth cycle.
She utilized your cars to frequent a number of spas and restaurants.
Are you full of flight attendant?
Yeah, he's probably trying to rack up his frequent flyer miles.
The campus near Dinah McManus used to frequent. An SRO desk clerk just ID'd him. He's been staying there a month.
My father doesn't frequent hotels.
Laura's mother, Peggy, was a waitress in a coffee shop in Waipahu that Harrison used to frequent back in the 70s.
According to Mateo's research, 2 most frequent abduction sites are Saint-Jean-Pied-Port in France and Roncesvalles in Spain.
That's Daryl, our favorite frequent flyer.
Intervene.
Intervene. Intervene. Intervene.
Intervene.
You know I cannot directly intervene.
Relax, flyweight.
I have this character flaw that compels me to intervene whenever stupidity rears its head, so...
Successfully, as it turns out. Bollocks. You realized Joan was here and you manufactured a reason to intervene.
Idly by while his master was attacked?
And if he did intervene, maybe he got DNA or trace evidence on him that could lead to her killer.
He attacked her.
As in hit her?
He tried to. The crew intervened, but Anna wasn't hurt. She was shaken up, as you can imagine.
We're very grateful. Then you know Mrs. Hughes asked me to intervene.
Some lunatic went nuts and started attacking people. Chang stepped in to intervene, and the guy started choking.
Executed 2 of your men. Goro, we wouldn't be here if he hadn't intervened.
Why not put a little down on the long shot? Could pay off quite handsomely if the gods intervene. Lyle, what do you say?
Do you still believe it was correct to assemble the United Nations coalition and to intervene, or is it time now to call that intervention a mistake?
I fall when this happens.
It's okay. Thank you.
Normally, I wouldn't intervene. It's just...
Why is it confusing?
I'd always expected that God or my parents would intervene to keep this moment from ever happening.
Dominant.
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 Manipulated, right? And the dominant position is the rigor. Yes?
Yes.
And the dominant rigor is in the controlling harness here.
He is 3 times the size of Sky, and this meadow is his turf. He's confident, dominant.
My people were well underway to repopulating the Earth and becoming the planet's dominant species.
Men, gorillas, blowfish, when they want to appear dominant, they puff themselves up.
Well, look at the body language. I mean, he's clearly in control. He's dominant. The other 2, the older 2, they just may adore him.
The nutmeg is dominant, yes, but it's the olfactory equivalent of a burlesque dancer.
And only you have dimples, which are adorable, but they're also an excellent dominant genetic trait.
When she returned to America, Ms. Clark applied her extensive research on dominant primates to the alphas of our urban jungle.
What do you think? What do you mean? In a dyad, one spirit is always dominant. The human or the angel.
My left hand. Teddy said the best cardiosurgeons have 2 dominant hands. It's like a superpower.
He's dorsal dominant, so I'm not going to use a plantar incision to find the artery.
First day at med school, I'll show you. You just take the bag with your dominant hand, give a good hard squeeze every second, so...
Chord.
Chord.
Chord. Chord. Chord.
Reading them that. And then he took an extension cord, and stood on his desk and hung himself.
Oh, Mansfield's birthday. He was born at 12:04 a.m. after a 36-hour labor. His mother, Dolores, declined all anesthesia. Rumor has it he cut his own cord.
You didn't see the extension cord.
No. Dream big, my boy.
Well, I guess I could use a belt.
A belt.
Yeah, you're right. I don't need it. Extension cord works pretty good.
Gone. His lungs weren't fully formed. Umbilical cord tied around his neck.
What is this?
That, it's a VR1. It's a spinal cord stimulator.
And this is FDA approved?
Yes.
Oh, no. You didn't.
Didn't what?
He paralyzed his vocal cords.
You can do that? I mean, we could have shut him up whenever we wanted?
You need to stop pushing. I need you to stop pushing. The cord. It's wrapped around the baby's neck.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to walk me through this, all right?
You have to cut the cord so the baby can breathe.
Okay.
Clamp it.
Yes, why?
No reason.
Blew the locks with that cord. Ignored the alarms because he knew it'd be less than 30 seconds.
All right. I'll need about 200 feet of wire. Zip cord will work.
Where the hell am I supposed to get that?
Great electric cord that started this.
This would have burned to the ground if not for this man. He's a hero.
What? Just need a new chord. Nobody panic.
Go ahead, try it.
Succeed.
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 What basis does he have? If my actions are calculated to help me succeed, then why should I perform them?
Or you don't. You succeed, you succeed, you succeed, or you fail. The choice.
He wants us dead. You need us to succeed. You need us to succeed. You need us to succeed.
Like that, I will get laid, I'll get a better job, I'll succeed forward in the life.
Any TV show with before and afters will succeed.
Before you said that? After you said that?
I want to pause to consider the beauty of this moment. We're about to succeed where the combined wits of a dozen or so federal agencies have failed.
Working against her, she will kill us before we know it. It is imperative that we succeed. We need her heart.
But not to worry, nephew. I trust you will succeed.
My plan will require an act of you, Mr. McGraw, if it is to succeed.
Does it succeed?
We made no such agreements.
Why are you doing this?
Because I want to succeed.
What makes you think I'm gonna fail?
Well, how could you not?
Put the spirit down. But you are here to question my resolve. But you won't succeed.
Yeah. I want you to succeed, Dawson. I want to see that. I really do.
Destruction.
Destruction. Destruction.
Destruction.
Destruction.
Keep the ship out of the surf and spray,
or you will plunge to destruction, destruction, destruction.
Paycheck? You're living in a dream world, kid. You're fired. And you, shoplifting, destruction of property, destruction of property, destruction of property. I've already called the cops.
Press. He has a minor arrest record, including a DUI, destruction of property, destruction of property, destruction of property.
Attempting to control its deadly spread. Sends a wave of destruction throughout the underground.
No more crime scenes, no more death and destruction. Most dangerous place you'll go is a support group meeting where they run out of coffee.
He kept it solely to remind Pardillo of their mutually assured destruction.
I've seen what happens when Vulcanalis rises. I have seen the destruction.
Always ends in madness, destruction, and death.
But now, I fear they cannot see that by supporting him, they may be sowing the seeds of their own destruction.
The death. The destruction. The loss.
He's safe in those tunnels.
From weapons of mass destruction?
So the center of town is a zone of least destruction.
Okay, all right. So we gotta move everyone.
Our enemy is hell-bent on our destruction. They will accept nothing less than our complete and utter annihilation.